I never know what screen to be looking at. Oh shoot, I see it's right here. We live. Aaron, we live.
Got it.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It's your favorite alderman from the city of New Bern, Jamisha Harris, and we have another guest popping on. We are doing another episode of Why Do You Vote on Politick'N as usual. So I have a few guests here. Let me go to the speaker view so everybody can see them. We have Miss Sharon Bryant. We have Demetrius. You've seen him on all of my shows. We have Calvin. I'm saying it right? All right. Miss Barbara Lee, she is a former alderwoman. She's the reason why I'm able to sit in my seat. And we have Jarena Pender. So again, like we do all the time, anybody that wants to pop up, just go ahead and basically say who you are, what you do, and tell me why you vote. Do I need to call names out?
Hey everybody, I'm Sharon Bryant. I'm a community person. And one of the reasons I like to vote is because I like to have the right people in office so that when I'm paying my tax dollars, I know where they're spent and they're being spent well. So I will encourage any person that is 18 and over, please, please, please vote. You see what mess we're in right now? We can change that.
Amen to that. Who else is up?
This is Kelvin Stallings. I'm the vice president of membership for a statewide political youth organization. And the reason I vote is because I feel like it's my civic duty. And it's imperative to make sure that we do vote and we have, like she said, the right people in office and the right people making decisions on community change and resources.
That's awesome. Great points. Who else we got? Demetrius?
Yeah. So what's going on, everybody? Demetrius Deloge. I'm a lobbyist with the state of North Carolina. The reason I vote, and I could write a story about it, but literally just the reason I vote is because I matter, my community matters, my people matter, and I need somebody that's going to be in a position that agrees with that as well. I need you to believe that I matter, my people matter, our future matters. And just to be frank, since I ain't got a suit on and Jamisha told me I could be real,
Yes.
I vote because I'm not putting my future in the hands of some people that don't even care about me or nobody that looks like me, to be real with you. So I care about my tax dollars because taxes eat me alive. I care about my future is going to look because in the next 8-9 years, I want to be a father to my twin sons that I've been praying for. And I'm not putting my future in the hands of people that don't care. So tax dollars, representation, my desires, my wants, my community, my family, and literally every single aspect of your life is on the ballot. And it's free. And because my ancestors went through pure HE sticks for their opportunity to do it. And now the only thing we got to do is just walk in, just cast the ballot.
Did you say HE double sticks?
Well, I mean, I know, I'm trying to keep it PG, in case the kids is watching.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But we're real people with real conversations. Oh, and we got Quentin on. So real people with real conversations. That's important. So we can, say and do what we need to. Okay, who else we got? Miss Barbara Lee?
Why I vote?
Yes.
Because I have to. It's my duty. I've come from the days when we couldn't vote, so I appreciate it very much. I've seen many people go through awful, awful action just to vote. The voting means a lot to me, and it should mean a lot to all of our country. If it had not been the vote to give us a voice, we wouldn't be heard at all. And so you know how hard it is to be heard, even with this administration. If we didn't vote, then we're going to lose out on everything. So I know
that's
that
very
there's
true.
Definite responsibility of all of us, especially Black folks. Our vote counts too. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. Miss Jarena Pender.
I vote because it's, as everyone has said, it's our responsibility, and it's also the way that we hold accountability to those in office. Our vote is our voice, and it lets them know who's speaking. So when certain things come to the table, you know, that vote is what's in the back of those representatives' minds. So the higher percentage of a certain demographic that shows up and votes, the things that matter to them when they present to the table, they matter to the people around the table. So that's part of why I vote.
Right, that's very important. And I guess I am up because a few people dropped off. You know how Zoom works, they'll come in and out. But I vote because again, it is my civic duty. And I want to make sure that there's people in office that represent me. I know some people get offended sometimes that, you know, Black and brown people ask for representation, but it's deserved. And having proper representation allows people to have me in their mindset, my community in their mindset when they're making decisions at a local level, at a federal level, at a state level. And then it also, I feel like, allows me to have a seat at the table to complain if I need to, because I actually exercised my right to vote. And again, like the rest of everyone else said, you know, it's important and we need to make sure that we do our civic duty, especially for this election, because we need to turn over an administration. And Quentin is back. So everyone basically said, why did they vote? And I think that's very important. I know the first Zoom chat that we had with a few of you, we kind of talked about how in different settings we come against different people and their viewpoints on, you know, why they should vote or why they're not voting. And I think it's important for people to know that you need to vote. By any means necessary, you need to vote. But I wanted to ask Mr. Stallings, you know, what are some of the things that you encounter with people in regards to why they feel like they won't vote? Because I've known, we've heard that they say, you know, you got 45 in there, and then we got Joe Biden, and it's like, I'm not voting for either one. And you know, you get the conversation, well, vote for the lesser of the two evils. How do you feel about that statement?
So a lot of people in these communities, and it's funny because it even predates 45. It goes way back to when me and Demetrius were running the campaign to get the youngest person in North Carolina elected, you know, to to office. And people think that their votes really don't matter because they feel like they're going up against a system where everything is established. You have to be established, you know, to be able to serve the people that you represent. And a lot of people also feel like that it's a system that they can't win in. It's rigged against them. We talk a lot about, you know, right now, I feel like more than ever, it's more important to go vote because we literally currently have a president that is railing against the mail system. And with a pandemic going on and absentee ballots being the primary focus of a lot of outreach, he's literally attacking the postal service. So right now we see people, and this is a conversation even within my account. Can you hear me? It's a conversation within our county, even that we are seeing people we have a huge number of people that are sending in mail ballots, and we don't, and it's a delay in the terms of when they're being received by the postal service. And we want people to have integrity in the election system. We want people to believe that their vote really matters, their vote really counts. When they come to the voting booth in the ballot box, that they're being heard. And I think it's now more than ever that we really need to have a push to let people know that now more than ever, you really need to vote. We really need to change things.
Right. And so you brought up a good point in regards to, you know, how people are voting. And me personally, with everything that's going on in the country, especially with the U.S. Postal Service, I'm not confident in our postal service. And I don't think that it's I wouldn't say it's them. I would say the administration that governs them in regards to the fiduciary expenses that it takes to run the United States Postal Service. But I just, you see these different videos pop up of some of these rogue mailmen and mailwomen that are taking ballots and throwing them in the trash or not giving people's mail. So I get nervous. And although it is something that is a part of your civic duty, for me, I feel if you're not going to vote early, go vote on November 3rd. But Demetrius, how do you feel about that, about voting by mail?
So for me, I like, and this is just the way, and Kelvin can tell you ever since we've been undergrad together, I like to handle my stuff in person. And for me, I'm always punctual with every single thing I do. So if you tell me my meeting's at 7:00, I'm getting there at 6:30 or 6:45. I personally vote early because I want to make sure that I can see my ballot go into the machine. I can see what I marked down and know that it's legit. And I understand, with COVID and everything, some people might be a little bit apprehensive about doing that. But for me, I'm going to go vote in person and I'm going to go vote early because a lot of times when you vote early, you can walk in and walk right back out. A lot of people wait till November 3rd to go vote, which I understand some people don't have a choice but to do that. But if you have a choice, go vote early. Like literally, you can eliminate this whole standing in line for hours thing. And, just coming from a legislative standpoint, I have seen so many times where legislators, I won't say the party, but legislators have been trying to get rid of, one-stop voter. They've been trying to get rid of, early voting. They've been trying their best to, bring forth the photo ID thing and, all kinds of stuff. So while you have this freedom and this opportunity, go take care of yourself and vote early. And for the love of God, please check your status now. Like, do not wait until November 2nd to say, oh crap, let me double check and make sure I'm registered. No, do it now because the State Board of Election has time on their hand and they can get you right. Nobody is trying to get you right on November 2nd and November 3rd. So for me, I check my stuff as often as possible because I don't like surprises. And, all my loved ones, I check theirs, like my parents, my grandparents, all my boys, they call me and say, yo, how do I make sure I'm good? Like I do it for them just to tell them that they're straight. And, sometimes everybody's not going to be privy. Up here, we're all, government and, well-educated individuals, but everybody is not going to fall in that same category. So sometimes you might just have to take 30 seconds just to look up somebody's name and make sure they're good. And what you can do is go to NCSBE, that stands for North Carolina State Board of Elections, and look up and go to the voter tools and do voter lookup. Type your name, last name, the county you reside in, and it'll come up and tell you where your precinct is. You can look at your sample ballot, your history of how you voted before, and all of that. And literally all of this is at the tip of our fingertips. We have phones in service. Like, yo, we can do so much with this. So vote early, get yourself right.
And can I follow up really quick, Jamisha?
You sure can.
And I received a call today, and it's something that I really didn't even think about because I'm a person that just I requested an absentee ballot, but I'm like Demetrius, I probably would go vote early. But Goldsboro City, former Goldsboro City Councilman Bevan Foster called me today, and he was talking about how many people don't really realize that you can request an absentee ballot. You can get your witness to sign an absentee ballot, vote, and you can go drop. If you don't have faith in the postal system, you can go drop your absentee ballot off at your local board of elections. And that's knowledge that I don't think a lot of people right now are pushing, because you can request your absentee ballot, receive it, fill your absentee ballot out, and go take it to your local board of elections with one witness signing your absentee ballots. So it's knowledge that we really, really need to know, because a lot of, and I really didn't think about it, but a lot of people really don't understand that. A lot of people think that you have to mail in absentee ballots. You don't have to mail them in. You can really take them to your board of elections and your vote will be counted now.
Kevin, let me piggyback on that, because when I got my absentee ballot in the mail, which I can show you right here, I didn't want to mail mine. So I took mine to the Board of Election. There was nobody in line. And when you go in, there's a form you have to fill out. And of course, yes, you do have to get a witness. And that's the best way to know that your ballot is being counted. And so when I was standing in there filling out my little form and stuff and made sure my ballot was in there, when I came out, when I tell you that line was lined outside, That's how long the line was in a split second. So I tell anybody, if you did get an absentee ballot, fill it out, take it to the Board of Election and cast your vote that way. If you can't, early voting, as soon as 8 o'clock come, be in line, get your vote in, you go home, you grab somebody else and you take them down there too. Don't stop. Keep going, because this election is very important. And when people say that I don't want to vote, I don't need to vote, yes, you do. Because we can't vote for you now. You have to get out there and vote for yourself. These benefits that you're getting because you also pay tax dollars. So everybody that's 18 years old must vote.
And make
All
sure
right
you
now.
vote once. Don't go
Now,
to jail.
Yes.
You ask what we feel about the mail-in voting.
Yes.
This is Barbara Lee. Okay, and I thought that it was an option. I think that we haven't had all the time. I don't think there's anything that we should depend on. I think early voting and voting in person is what I always did, always had to do, and plan to always do. However, the mail-in voting could be to our advantage to those of them who can't get out or won't get out. We've had to, in many of our elections, we've had to pick up people to take them to vote. And if you can't pick them up, because of the COVID, some people don't want to ride with you or something, they got the mail-in voting. And if they got their ballot in the mail already, they could put it in, like you say, or you could take it, have somebody take it there. I used to pick it up for people. Let me take it in for you, but you can't do that now. So I think it's a good option. We need an option because we don't need to miss any votes. Those of us who can go and vote, we should encourage others to do that. And those of them who are not registered to vote, shame on you. We need to get out there and vote. Yeah.
She said what she said. She said, shame on you if you're not registered to vote. So I wanted to give my friend, my fellow brother and elected young YEO elected official, Quentin Jackson, to the Zoom mic. First, introduce who you are, where you're from, and tell us why you vote. And then I want you to tell me how you feel about mail-in ballots.
So I'm Quentin X. I'm from Africa. Kelvin made me act up in here, man. But I'll be on my best behavior because Demetrius, we gotta maintain. Just want to bring a little humor. I am Councilmember Quentin Jackson from the original town of Hertford, 7th oldest in the city, and the only operational S bridge in the whole country. So I do want to throw that out, right? And also I rep that Viking pride. Ain't that right, y'all? What's going on?
All right.
So with a whole lot of other accolades that we ain't got the Easter to sit here and talk about. We want to tell people to make sure to get out and vote. And if you ask why to vote, I'll tell you to vote so people like me can stay in office. That's the main thing. Even though a lot of people, and I touch about this on voting, a lot of people don't remember when we lost the midterm election when Senator Barack Obama came into power.
Yeah.
And he was on television crying. We can have whoever we want as presidents, but our midterm elections, Congress, all that are most important because the president have limited powers. About and if he doesn't have anybody there to hold him accountable, think about the last 2 years before we won the House back. And and I tell a lot of people that because I don't understand this president came and he's doing all of this now when it's checks and balances. Because if you remember when he got elected, he had the House and the Senate. So he could have went on and built all his walls and appropriated all his money and everything. But it wasn't until the Democrats got in the House and he knew it was powers and balances where somebody could check him and slow him up what he was doing, he decided to start all this foolishness. So, get out and vote. And I'm going to tell you, I hate having to preach to people about going vote on something you should want to do. We're protesting and balling fists up for George Floyd, for all these people, but how many have died for the right to vote? We could talk about police injustices, but the voter injustices and the voter suppression, come on now, especially in rural areas. Right now I sit in a district where there's 8 counties with 1 congressperson. 1 senator, 1 representative represents 7 counties. So from one side of the district, which is the Outer Banks, to the other side of the district, it would take them 6 hours to travel to. So, this gerrymandering coming up, this 2020 census, all these things are centered around who's going to redraw these lines. Where the money going to come from, how your money is spent. These police officers are picking you up in your car that your taxpayers are talking to. I have to go to my city and preach. Look, you need to turn your car off while you're sitting in the store talking for 30 minutes, wasting my gas money. No,
Gotcha.
you need to turn your car off going in the store. Like, what's wrong with you? I mean, y'all don't look at it that way, but that gas bill and that tax bill, that's your money. That's your money
right.
you're having to pay for. I don't want to go around having to tell citizens, oh, your electric bill is high, so unplug a clock and unplug this. But this gas tax bill, the police officers are being irresponsible. You ain't in the police station, turn the lights off. I don't need every light on in the police department, you're gone. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that's happening that you should want to vote. You should want to go to the polls. Your vote don't matter. Ask Tua to let the president last year, William Pitt, he won his re-election by 1 vote. So don't think that, your 1 vote does not matter. It does matter. It could be the deciding factor. So, that's my spiel on it, y'all. That's, I ain't mean to bring all that in.
Very good.
But that was some real stuff though. Like,
That's good.
people be having to get their votes or their winning determined by like the flip of a coin. Like, bruh, and and like depending on the race, that means you got to recount.
Right.
Like, think about how long that's gonna take if you got to put this on a national scale. If you got to do a recount, like, bruh, ain't no telling what's really about to go on. So, you want to win by a margin that is, it's non-debatable.
Yeah.
Like, legit. My fault, Mish.
No, I'm listening. I like that we have these conversations.
Because you got me in a soapbox.
Yeah, I know, Mr. I'm quiet.
Yeah, I'm quiet. I texted like, don't call me. I'm quiet. I'm the shyest guy in the room.
That's why he don't like when I'm on the call.
But I'm just saying, understand that yes, Trump lost by 2 million popular votes, but it was small town rural folks that did not come out that think their votes don't matter because they're in small towns. No, yours matter the most. We need the smaller people to step up because those little bit is the ones that's the deciding factor. So I just want people to know, and I got this, do not be discouraged about mailing in ballot, but I want you to go to the polls. I'm telling people, you talking about open back up so you can go to the club, open back up so you can do this, get your hair done and do all that. Open back up so I can go vote. You know what I mean? Open back up so I can go vote, because the thing about this, right, they're going to mail it, but suppose it goes to the wrong address. You're already getting mail now. I know some of my mail go to the wrong side of town, and if somebody got your ballot because you plan on going vote and it's 2 votes, your vote don't count. It doesn't count. Yeah. So let's be safe. Let's get up and go in our cars and go vote.
So, Demetrius, tell me what you said on the last podcast that had me cracking up. You swear to God, if you can go to the club, you can go to the polls.
Bro, I swear to God, I done seen some of my boys stand in line for like 4-5 hours just about some damn $300 Jordans. Like, bro, I swear to you, if you could, like, our priorities have got to be in the right place. Like, I'm never going to tell somebody, if you want to blow your money on Jordans, that's you. I ain't gonna never discredit you or nothing like that. But legit, if you could stand in the club all night and during 6-inch heels and sweat all darn day and still be good, you can stand in line for 30 minutes to cast a vote. If you can blow money all the time, you can vote because it's for free. If you going and showing up to work late anyway, you might as well be 10 minutes late because you cast a vote. Like, all of this just makes so much sense. There is no excuse that you can put on somebody of why you don't vote. We already know that it counts. Like, we done told you that, people lose their elections by 1 to 2 votes. We've already told you to go ahead and get it done. Like, now it's just the act of doing it. If you can stand outside all night, you can do it. And don't even tell me about no cold, because on Black Friday, I see y'all in hoodies and Timbs and everything. Stand out there and cast the third ballot.
Jamisha, can I ask a question?
They go to Walmart in the DJs and stand in line during Christmas time on Black Friday. I know they can get out there and go and vote.
Exactly.
But I think, how can we make this hit home though? because we know these people will stand outside for Jordans. We know people will stand outside for NBA 2K21. It just came out a week ago. We know we know they would do it. But how can we make, and Jamisha, tell me if I'm overstepping, but I just want to know, how can we make this hit home to where it is important that you should realize that them J's or 2K21 is really just important as you going to cast your vote?
No.
Legit, bro. I had this discussion last night. So when we had our census briefing last night for the North Carolina Black elected municipal officials, I hit hard on that. So here are masters. You got to take the suit off. That's why Jamisha told me I'm not allowed to wear a suit up here. But like legit, you really got to come down off of, the educated person and talk to people real. Like earlier today, like one of my brothers, I love him so much. He came to me and said, "Yo, D, I've never done a census, man. Why does it matter?" I was like, bro, they draw your darn districts based on that. It's $1,600 a person by the time you add it up. So that determines how much money is going into your community. Right. And plus, if you don't count for yourself, why not? So like legit, think about it. Like at one point in time, Black people count as what, 3/5 of a person? So now we have the opportunity to count for ourselves as a whole United States citizen with rights and like equal entitlement under the US Constitution. Why would you not? So you got to tell people like legit, every single thing that you worried about you go to the hospital and you got to pay $600 for something. Tell them to vote some people in that'll expand Medicare. So, and y'all know I like to keep it nonpartisan. So, to all my people that's worried about your gun rights, do that the right way. Put people in there that care about your guns and, that'll do it in a sensible way. Like, you care about the darn pothole to just bust your 20s. Like, yo, that's DOT. The legislature determines what money goes to what? Through your funding. Like, there is not one aspect of life that you can't tell me about that's not on that ballot. So whatever complaint that they hit you with, tell them that that's on the ballot. And I guarantee you, once you start speaking about them losing food stamps, them losing their projects, and
that's right.
Not even being funny, but you lose your affordable housing and your housing and all that stuff. I guarantee you will get it.
That's
like,
right.
Legit, because we all know, like all of been in the legislature. It takes one vote for them to change your entire life. Like legit, they can vote to cut the housing funding in one day. And to be honest, they used to have the numbers to do that. In the day when it was the supermajority, it wasn't even a question. They can go in there and cut whatever. They've tried to change the names on universities. They've tried to get rid of abortion and, feminine care. And, I know everybody has their own opinion. Personally, me, I don't have female genitalia, so I can't tell you what to do with your body, but that's between you and the Lord. But legit, if you care about all these issues, like legit, somebody's going to represent you in a body somewhere, whether it's council, whether it's state legislature, whether it's in the governor's office, if it's in the darn U.S. Capitol, or if it's in the White House. The United States was founded on the principles of representative democracy. That means somebody is going to represent you. Why would you want somebody to represent you that you don't know? You ain't never heard of them? Because, think about it. I didn't come from a six-figure household. How can somebody tell me what it's like to, come from the 252, one of the most socioeconomic depressed areas ever, and then now being, one of the youngest Black libraries in the state of North Carolina? You can't tell me how to climb that figure if the only thing you had was a silver spoon in your mouth. So legit, break it down to people. Like being for real, break it down to however that you need to talk. I don't care if you got to not talk in complete sentences or whatever, but whatever that you got to do, bro, you got to make people understand this stuff.
That's right. That's right. I think you're speaking very well. I like hearing that kind of thing from young people. I'm sorry that we can't find a way to get through to the young folks and people like you, your age, and let them see that importance that you see. It is very important that, especially locally, when you get your local politicians and local government, the state, I was in the state legislature, and then there are those who be in the legislature, the state legislature, in the state senate. They just as crazy as they could be, and there are things that they got to do for us as well. So we need to be focused on what's going on around us, even like the Board of Aldermen and the mayors and all those kind of things. So we need to be focused on that. So like the young man said, if you got people going to the Senate and to the Congress and they are not people or want to be there, then getting a good president that can do you any good. So I like hearing
Exactly.
all of you speak.
Yes, ma'am. And honest and truly, we all are, African Americans up here. We know that when something ain't right, we know we're gonna talk some junk about it.
That's right.
So if you're gonna talk some junk about it, at least know who to talk some junk to and say, hey, why is this like this? Fix it.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's very true.
Mhm.
So you guys are having a great conversation in regards to voting. So I feel like it's important for us to talk about the North Carolina census. And I know we touched on it before. My internet keeps saying that it's unstable, so I don't know if I'm breaking up. So work with a sister because it's raining at 100% over here. But I think the same way that we are strong advocates about voting, I think it's very important that we need to be strong advocates for filling out your North Carolina census, because to me, I believe they both go hand in hand. But I'm definitely going to let Demetrius touch on a few points when it comes to the North Carolina census.
Yeah, and I mean, so this is something that we talk about a lot. And one of the things, I was blessed that both of my parents and my aunt and my uncle, grandparents have always done the census. So every single 10 years, I had to go to there at least 5 or 6 times because I went with my mom and my dad, my uncle and my aunt, and grandparents. So I learned at a young age, but I understand that everybody's not privileged to do that. So let me break it down. Like, you get counted as a person here. And I learned something last night that I didn't even know. If you're not responsive, somebody else that you don't even know gets to write the story about you. Like, I didn't even know that last night. Like, Stacey Carlos, and I'll make sure to tag her in it. But legit, she blew my mind with that. Like, if a person comes to your door to do your census and you don't respond, they can go to their neighbor and their neighbor can paint you out to be whatever that they want you to be. They can literally answer for you, which is crazy.
Wow.
But your census literally, again, that determines where the money is going. Economic development in Northeastern North Carolina, and Quentin and Kelvin, y'all can back me up on this. We know that it's not exactly the land of opportunity. But whenever some of these big corporations are deciding to come down, they're looking at the census tracts to see where who's there, how much education do they have, what's the household income, all of that. So legit, when they're looking at all of that, they're going to the census to see where are people at, and that determines where the economic development opportunities are going to go. Also, federal funding, like that's where a lot of that comes from. And Mish, I got the thing pulled up from last night. So each year, the North Carolina gets $44 billion in annual federal funding from the census, and a lot of that determines, like, it literally just is determined on how many people respond, and that's a lot of money. Think about it. That's money coming in. Why do we not want that to go to the Black community? Because I can guarantee you, I know where it's going. And if we don't fill out the census, can we argue and be mad that it's not coming to our community? And then you talk about redistricting. Again, when I was in DC at the Brookings Institute, we were talking about redistricting. One of the scholars came up to me and said, yo, whenever we need a case study, we come straight to y'all state. I'm like, dog, that is not a good thing to say to somebody, but it's the truth. So for those that don't know what gerrymandering is, they can literally stack up, Democrats in a small district, and they can stack Republicans however they want to. Basically, in a sense, it's like the legislators and elected officials get to choose who get to choose their constituents rather than it being the other way around.
Right.
So a lot of times we can gain a district, like what happened out there in the new district with Guilford County and Winston-Salem. So, and for those that don't know, that's a whole new congressional district because of redistricting and because of the federal courts. So we had the opportunity to put somebody Black in Congress out there. And, I love Kathy Manning, and, she won, and, kudos to her. But that was, an opportunity for us to put somebody Black in Congress to represent us. And, we don't wind up doing these redistricts. They can, just draw it the way they want to.
Right.
So just to wrap it all up, that determines where your money is going. You get like $1,600 a person. So think about it, by the time you do a whole county, how much money is coming to that area. Then get to talk about how much they're going to redistrict your area. That's how they draw the congressional lines as well as the state lines and everything like that. And lastly, it gets to talk about the economic development aspect of it. So yeah, and literally, I know people always say, because my little brother asked me this today, he was like, does my info get shared? It does not. By federal statute and the US Constitution, the Census Bureau cannot utilize your personal information for any purpose. Like literally, there are only 10 questions up there. Like I can read them to you if you need me to, but it's only asking how many are in your house? Are you Latino? Are you Black or white? Male or female? That's it. Like legit, none of that stuff is going to get used to track you down. And you know, I asked the question last night about our Latino community, who I understand may have some worries. They cannot use any of that information to get you, to hurt you, or anything like that. There are statutory mandates, there are legal precedents in place, and legit, there have been more U.S. or Supreme Court cases for people to say that their information was not used and it has been used. There has literally never been a case where the census people use your information that you put in there to track you down or nothing, and literally count every person in your house. You can do it via phone, you can do it via laptop, you can call, whatever that you need to do, but bruh, you got to do these things, because honest and truly, we know who's been doing it for like the last couple 100 years, right? And it ain't always been us.
Right.
So again, like I said last night, it's time for Black people to stop being behind the 8 ball. Like there's no such thing as I don't know or I didn't know no more. Nah, that's BS. Ask somebody. Hell, call and ask me. I don't care. Whatever that you got to do.
Right.
But do what you got to do to get this darn census done. Do what you got to do to get your voting done. And again, Misha, I'm going to just say it. If you ain't vote and you ain't do your census, don't call me complaining, because you don't get another side of me.
I hear you on that one. I love everything you're saying, and I think it's important to follow back to what Calvin was saying in regards to how can we get to the masses, or for us to be able to help them understand the importance. I think a lot of people, even candidates, are well, you even see with Joe Biden and Harris in regards to how some people feel that they were pandering the Black vote with the Lift Every Voice agenda. So I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to any type of election, a lot of candidates, a lot of groups have a hard time engaging with, minorities, because we're just, like you said, we're going to call something out. And, we're not about that BS. And, when we think about our candidates, in representation, if you don't represent what we looking for, you get us. And we're like, you know what? I'm not voting. So I think it's important. I think, especially during this year in this administration, I think it's a time for us to take a turn in how we can truly engage the youth. I know I mentioned last time, I think it's important. I don't know if any of you watch VMO or VOMO, Vote or Move, or something like that, or Move Over, but Kevin Hart was hosting it. It was with former First Lady, Michelle Obama, and they had, I see you, Quentin, and they had all these different actors, actresses, celebrities. They had some artists, and they were just doing skits. But Tiffany Haddish had one where she was with the kids, and I think it's so important to start young, and it could be something so simple. And what they did was they talked about what a ballot was. She told them how to vote, and they decided on whether they were going to have a math party or a dance party. And I just think like that's what we need to do. We need to come to people at the level that they're at. Even if it is like, purchasing the PS5. Am I saying it right? Because I don't deal with that garbage. It's Nintendo till I die.
That $500 price tag.
That thing
forget
$500.
that.
No, I'm
it's
good.
Nintendo till I die. Okay, I'm from the original Dundada. Okay, we don't play all that Mario and that's it. But I feel like we have to meet them.
Where they are.
And yeah, where they are, and counter everything that they're saying with positivity and factual stuff. So I think it's important that we know our stuff. I think it's important, like we're doing now. Everyone's kind of stuck in the house. It's getting colder. We got COVID, and these are great ways to have these conversations. I literally don't care who hops on the Zoom. I just care that we are engaging and we're talking about things that matter. In the North Carolina The whole census matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. It matters to the point of we're dealing with COVID and there's a lack of resources, PPE, COVID testing, like all of that is something that matters because you vote for your governor, you vote for your president, and the president is going to make these decisions on how much money is going to be allocated to these different states to provide these resources. So, I mean, I could go on for days. I'm an elected official, so I get on my soapbox like Quentin, but I'm gonna pass the Zoom mic over to Quentin because he had his hand up and I know he got something good to say. And while you're saying it, Quentin, please tell us what the thought process was about giving out these free shirts, what your population is, how many shirts in the kiosk, because I thought that was so dope.
So I do want to tell you, and I can't take credit for that as Councilman Frank Norman, but I do want to say that what happened was NLC gave out census grants to all municipalities. And I know a lot of municipalities did not take advantage of that, but the kiosk was just simply, Frank came up with the idea, let's get kiosks, let's get that, it's 4,000 people here. And so you realize everybody come in, get a shirt. Like, he give away shirts when he's there. It's not, but it was a great thing. And we had to order more shirts and we just got a supplemental added to the grant through NLC. So it's free money out there for the census. You just got to go get it. Now, a lot of people like business as usual. And I don't want people to take that for granted, that they're like, okay, the census is fine where we are, numbers and everything is political. Please don't make it like it's like very different and political, but big Frank, and he's on it. You hear me? Mask and census, Frank is on, okay? But I do want to talk about this because we're telling people why to vote. And I think a lot of us are like misguided. And I hear a lot of us, and when I say us, I mean Black folks. Y'all know I don't care. And I want to tell people my philosophy because I know it's bilingual in here. I'm not racist by any means. I treat people how they treat me, period. And I call a spade how I call a spade. The other day in my city, we just had a person come before council asking just for us to pay attorney fees to get a 245 new urban affordable housing development built. Cost the city nothing, okay? And the only kicker to it was if we did it, we couldn't get HUD funding through that grant for 3 years. But they're already giving you 243 houses. And what the man said is, you're not going to need it for 3 years because you're already going to have a project that's going to take at least 2 of those to even get up. And we lost 3-2. Now, I don't have to tell you what color was the 3, but you already know it went 3-2. So, and I just want to say this: you hear Donald Trump, and people like, well, Trump, all right, man, and they go off. We gave more money to HBCUs than ever before. That's their number one line. Not true. What Trump did was every year legislators have been going to DC and had to beg for the money for the HBCUs and use it as a bargaining tool for them to get something. Trump just enacted a law to say, hey, y'all can have the same money y'all always got for 10 years. Okay, wow. Thank you for what should have been done.
Quentin, you muted yourself, bro.
Yeah, he did. Unmute yourself.
And he's still going.
I'm sorry.
He's still going.
But I'm like this. If you have to keep score on what you do for Black people,
that's right.
What does that tell you about somebody? Because if I have a friend that I have to call and we have that relationship, don't nobody got to know what you do for me if it's genuine. You get what I'm saying? So y'all Black folk, y'all so happy with $1,200, y'all don't know what to do, ain't y'all? Y'all sell your soul for $1,200 don't make no sense. So we give you $1,600 for the
first of all,
yes.
that $1,200 is doing a lot for a lot of people. It don't matter white, black, yellow, green. You know what I'm saying?
Jamisha, so stay right there, sister girl. See, that's why I got to keep educating you so I can educate you on this tool bus. You give the Lakers $5 million and give me $1,200. You said doing a lot for people. How much you gonna do with $5 million? And
I
then these
know.
county commissioners, Lord have mercy, these county commissioners getting the money and ain't giving municipalities nothing.
Oh my God. Please don't
Nothing.
get me started
And,
on that.
you know,
Don't
this
get
is
me
what-
started on that.
But this is why you vote. You understand? This is why you vote.
You
1,200
vote so that you can
please.
have representation. That's the main point.
But hold up for you know, you dignified Negroes. Hold up.
Oh my
Because
God, Quentin.
President Barack Obama was the first joker came around here giving out $3,500 stimulus, and they saying them black folks need to go get a job.
That's
where y'all
right.
been at? Obama been gave y'all stimulus money, and y'all acting like Trump, the first one came out and gave y'all something free. And y'all still walking around with Obama phones.
Demetrius, I know I
That's
should
right,
never
that's
let
right.
Quentin up on
Keep it
here.
real.
Quentin, you about to get my
Hello?
show canceled
Hello?
before it is even
No,
started.
I'm not, but I gotta keep it real because
No, that's
believe it or
right.
not,
It's real
it's
conversations.
a lot of us that's talking about Trump is doing this and Trump is doing that. You got to have a real life conversation with them. And if
That's
we
right.
that's getting on these podcasts is scared to talk to us, we need to get out of the office too. Because this is how I talk to my constituents. Y'all going around and selling y'all soul for $1,200. That means what? Y'all will do anything. Y'all know
Quentin,
what-
did you spend your $1,200?
I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. I may have a little bit more money. I wasn't fortunate enough to get that, but I did file for PPE. And did you know it was a credit check on PPE money? And then a whole lot of really people that was on the underutilized businesses didn't qualify for it. I mean, we can have real talk about this. You see all these millionaires getting in trouble now for buying Lamborghinis and all this stuff they was buying with that PPE money, but the people who really needed it, they didn't get nothing. They got nothing.
Right.
They got nothing.
That's
And
right.
so you have Ben Carson, who's a neural scientist, doctor, that's in charge of HUD that ain't never lived in a project. You know what I mean? What do y'all think? Linda McMahon on WWE getting stone cold.
Don't do
and
it.
she's in charge
Are
of
you doing it right now? You going in?
Hey, Greg going in.
I'm just saying, why vote? And then y'all uppity Negroes got the nerve. And let me tell y'all something. Then y'all got the nerve to talk about I don't want to vote for Joe Biden for all these reasons. Like y'all ain't got to pass. Y'all been saved all y'all life and y'all ain't got to pass. I don't understand. Y'all done broke up the church. What else y'all want to break up now? Y'all want to break up the vote. Y'all need to just stop this foolishness. Every time, and Kamala Harris, whether you love her, every time a black person elevates, it's us that want to tear them down.
Yes, preach.
Say whatever you want to say about white people. But when they got a common goal, whether they hate each other, whatever it is, they stick together. And we have to do that. We have to do that. We got to. So y'all cut this foolishness out, go to the polls, do the census, do everything that y'all supposed to do. And that's why, I mean, if you're offended, that means I'm talking to you because you aren't going to vote for Democrats no way. Y'all decide to be uppity and get like y'all can't do this. I'm sorry, Jamisha.
No, listen. You already know how when we get together, we are like this, y'all.
It's killing me. And to my Democratic Party, y'all got straighten up. Straight up. Y'all got
oh my God, yes.
Come on now.
Y'all got to straighten up because all of y'all been doing it y'all way for years and years and years, and y'all losing out. And that's why these young organizations having to come up, and we need young millennials having to start our own organization because y'all don't want to listen. Y'all don't want to listen to the needs of us because I'm so tired of going in the room and y'all already picked our successors. How y'all pick our successors?
That's right.
I don't understand it. You already picked who's gonna success. How y'all do that? I don't even know this person. How are y'all doing this? Y'all don't want to take on no real. I mean, I'm sorry. People need to get
the truth.
8 years old. You got retirement. You was a judge. Now you want to be a senator and run some more stuff after you done locked half of us up to get in office.
That's right.
This stuff here just needs to cut it out. Cut it out. I can't sit here and deal with you house Negroes no longer.
If you don't stop saying house Negroes.
Tell the truth.
Listen, these house Negroes, I'm sick of them. And I got to give it up because a lot of people have been talking about Uncle Tom. And one day another educated Negro sat me down and told me who Uncle Tom really was. Uncle Tom needed to be praised. So I stopped calling black folks Uncle Toms. Because if you really understand who Uncle Tom was, he infiltrated and helped Black people. And they wanted Uncle Tom to sell out, and he wouldn't do it. Y'all need to go Google who Uncle Tom is. Y'all been giving Black folk too much credit. They ain't got no business beside Uncle Tom. You know, they just don't. But you get these people that come to the community.
I am done with you.
I'm for real. Every 4 years, these people come to the community, give y'all hot dogs and fish fries, free food, and they nice people. How they become nice people? Oh, this person told me to vote for them because they're going to do right by the community. It don't take you being elected to do right by the community. You should have been out there before. Where were you at?
Hold on. I need to know, Jarena, I see you unmuted yourself. You got something to say?
I'm sorry, Jarena.
To give him an amen. That's it. Like, he's speaking truth to power. I'm silently amen. Everything you said. Talk about them house Negroes. Get them.
I am absolutely
I concur,
done.
Janisha. Let me tell you, them house Negroes is just right. He's on point. Boy, this is the best sermon I have had in a long time. And by no means, brother, I know you ain't no preacher, but keep on preaching, honey, because you are telling the truth.
Well, I call it good trouble. You know, I call it
right.
Okay,
and I
Mr.
tell
John
people-
Lewis Jr.
I tell people this. Really look at John Lewis' life. Muhammad Ali, John Lewis, those are my people. When John Lewis started doing what he was doing, Martin Luther King read his book, really get into John Lewis, because I like him. He said, look, John, you being too rough. I can't keep taking you where I'm going because you're going too hard on them. Nah, we need that. You need to go hard everywhere you go, because these Negroes in office, they gotta go. They gotta go. They gotta go. You know, and then you sit there, and when the young folks finally, because be real about it, these women have been carrying our sorry Black behinds everywhere you go. It's so many women into politics, and men won't support them. Now, whatever you feel about the NAACP, when you go to the NAACP, all you see there's a bunch of women. When you go to all these other organization meetings, a bunch of women. When our brothers are gonna stand up and protect our women like we supposed to? You know, when are we gonna sit here and help our women? They're out there fighting every day for us, and we won't even support them. This stuff has to stop, and this is what I'm looking for out of the Democratic Party. Now, you know, Joe Biden, I done been around him a lot of times, and you know, we go to DC, Jamisha, so we in there. If he ain't doing what he talking about, I got to have a talk with him. Okay, I got to have a talk. It's good to talk about giving me money and what you're going to appropriate, but I got good sense, because I know what the president can and cannot do. But how I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to hold you to task. And I have, you know, I got a Republican legislator, and I got a Republican senator up there, good one in them out of Edenton. I'm calling them on their phones like, what's up with this vote? What's up with this vote? And 9/11, y'all know what I thought about on 9/11? I thought about how all of our Democratic leaders was at 9/11 remembrance service, and they tried to do that vote on the budget last year. Y'all remember that? That's every year I think about 9/11.
That was an interesting day.
Yeah. Steinberg got to go.
You know, I got in trouble because, you know, I know y'all put it and everybody's seen it, but I ain't get a whole lot of likes when they was talking about never forget the fallen people that died on 9/11.
Oh my God, yes.
That day. Never forget that day, but you want me to forget about slavery that's still happening in the mines that's still going on, but all lives matter, but all buildings don't matter.
I'm about to mute you, and I'm about to block your video because you are going to get me banned from Apple. We just got our podcast put up there. We about to get booed on Facebook. Psych, no, this is real conversation.
But let me tell you, that's the thing. You know, I'm not no hate person. This isn't a hate group. This real talk. And they censor us, and they do this. That's why it's very important for us to shop Black, buy Black, be Black. We got to be Black.
Speaking of that, I'm representing a local small Black business, Mansa Apparel, Mansa Musa. Oh, you got yours on too?
I mean, I got my shirt say minding my own Black business. That's what it says. You know, and I'm just saying this, you know, I'm just saying this because so many quiet people across that's in office, and these people be like, no, you can't say that and you can't do that. Burn it down. Burn it down. You know, every time we get a platform that we should be able to go to and we should be able to talk about and talk to, they always, oh no, you can't do this and you can't say that. Well, I got a motto. If you don't want me to speak my mind, don't invite me. Especially if I got to pay some admission fees to go there, I really got to talk. You know, I got to get my money's worth unless Kelvin's in the room, because he always give me that one eye and that talk, pre-talk. Quentin, look, we're going to have these people here and I need you to do this and I need you to be there. You know, Kelvin be pumping me up. So
Listen,
I be like, I got you, Kelvin, I got you in the room.
You are speaking nothing but truth, and that's the main fact about these conversations, is because if you keeping it real when we're talking to our counterparts and our peers, then they understand, and that's how we have to be. Like, I know some people listen to the podcast and they don't understand, but if you don't understand the culture and how we talk and how we relate to each other, then, you know, look up, ask questions in the comments. But we need to make sure that we are reaching our demographic, because we need representation. I don't know if y'all know, but I told y'all last time, Quentin, I know you know, because we rep the YEO Black Caucus. It's only about 700 Black people elected in office. That's not a lot. That's not a lot. We need more representation. We need that. Our children need to grow up. They need to see that, you know, a president could be Black, the first lady could be Black, a vice president could be a woman. I mean, and it's not wrong for us to feel this way. It's not wrong for us to want to talk about this. It's not wrong for us to say we want Black people to vote. It's not wrong for us to say we want Black people to fill out the census. We're not wrong because we want representation. It's not being racist. It's not being prejudiced. It's not calling the Black card. We're having real conversations, and we want people to know, everybody know, but we also have to reach the voters right now that everybody is trying to push away and make it seem like their vote doesn't matter. And that's the Black vote. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
Yeah, you 100% right. And I had a question really for Demetrius. If you don't mind, Jamisha. I know, especially with us, you know, being kind of in certain roles. How do you think we have to tread the lines? You know, because you know, I 100% agree with a lot of what Quentin said, and Quentin knows I agree with a lot of what he says. But we know dealing with certain organizations statewide, and you know, certain organizations, period, that there is a line that, you know, you have to, you know, tread. So what would you say to you know, having these conversations with our counterparts in some of these organizations?
Well, legit, when you with your people, you can have these real during conversations. Now, you know, from about 8 o'clock to about 4 o'clock, I'm in a suit and I'm in the legislature, so I may have to wear the mask a little bit unless I'm in somebody's office. And you know, one thing I want people to know a lot is, because so many of my Republican friends called and said, yo, what can I do in my position to help the Black community with this issue? Because they called me, they're like, yo, I don't know how to say this. I don't know what to do, what not to do. Like, they called and we had these conversations, but you got to keep it real, bro. Like, when I'm with my boys and, you know, we together, I keep it real with them. And, you know, we got to walk a fine line. But, you know, when I was pledging back in 2011, we learned this thing that said we wear the mask, McGowan, with torn and bleeding hearts, we smile. Like, you wear the mask sometimes, yeah. But to the people that, you know, like my boy Quentin, I know I can go to him and say, yo, Quentin.
And I'm burning it down. I can't even hear what he said. And we burn
it at work. Yeah, they can't do it at work. But, you know, there's a time and there's a place. And, you know, some of our people, and you know who I'm talking about, they need to hear that real legit talk, because, yeah, everybody think they got it together and they quote unquote woke. Nah, bro. I don't know what kind of woke you doing, but you sleepwalking, my dude. Nah.
Listen, so Angel Dalton, this is for you, Quentin. She said low key is contradicting to mention get the house Negroes out, but we need Black representation. How you gonna speak on that, bruh?
Bro, please let me tell her. Didn't I say we need Black representation? All skin folk ain't kin folk. I'm talking about real Black folk. I ain't talking about no contradiction. See, that's what I'm talking. It's contradictory because we need Black. No, we need Black folk. That's what we telling you. You know, it's the difference when you go to that cookout. You know who Black. You coming out there with some high heels on. I'm talking about we need people with Timberlands and Levi, true religion type of people in office. And now don't get it mistaken. Like, that's the first thing that's why I said how.
We need to get her on here.
Please send her the link so we can have a conversation. Hold on, wait a minute. Give me a second so I can pull it up on Facebook. Because see, the contradiction is that you go in, and that's what I said. All of these people that we've been voting in for so long, that has sold us out, that's made backroom deals, that's already gave their soul up, they're in office. So when younger people like Kelvin, right, that deserves to be in office somewhere, and like Demetrius, you know, once he becomes a $3 millionaire, because anybody be crazy to get in this job, you know, that's what happens. And I want to tell you this, and this is true, and I read it in a book. Most activists are broke. Did y'all know that? Most activists do not have money because it takes all their money doing what they're doing and fighting legal systems and X, Y, and Z. And after you get beat so much, you ain't Kunta Kinte no more, you're Toby. Okay, because you've been beat so much. And I learned the only person that has a problem about talking about racism is who? A racist.
Oh boy.
I mean, that's the truth. The only people.
That is very true.
That's the only part. Like, if you get in a conversation with a person and we're talking about something that's racist, oh no, you're racist. They're uncomfortable. But people that's woke, like Demetrius, and please don't be fooled, my brother, because how did you get in office? Because don't listen. There's some good white people out there. I want to say this. There's some good, nice white people out there. I'm friends with them. I don't have a problem with anybody. I'm going to treat them exactly how they treat me, you know. But when they come to you, how did you get in office not knowing the needs of your constituents? You mean to tell me you got no black people in your district and you ain't had to talk, and it takes Demetrius to come in with a suit and tie that understand, hey, sir, how did you get in here? Now, the most important thing is education. You're seeing all these college scandals about how these people cheated their way through, how they get pushed through. But guess what? We can hold municipal office, but the most important offices, like being a district attorney, being a judge, being all of this, if the education ain't there, we're already disqualified.
Right.
And when they know that they was turning around and not letting qualified applicants into these colleges because mom and daddy was paying ways of other people, we knew that we didn't stand a chance. You know, we know.
But she brings up another question.
Come on then, bring up the question.
She said and this is true though, because you know this is a good conversation. She says, can we talk about code switching as a black politician? Now that right there is a whole podcast in itself, because y'all already know.
Code switching?
Yeah, she said, can we talk about code switching as a black politician? Just how you heard Demetrius say when he got to wear his mask. Why do we got to do that? Why do we have to do that?
So first of all, them the people that ain't black people, okay? Because I wear that suit and tie just like Demetrius. I got that name badge on that say, you know, a second vice president of black elected municipal officials. I got that regional director of the National Black Caucus. But this is what you get. So you understand when and Jamisha, you've been in the room. You understand.
Yes.
I am the same every day. Okay.
Yeah, you are.
To your turn up, but if y'all got them pistols and them guns, I got to go. Period. Okay. I'm gonna come to your cookout. I'm gonna hang with my boys. I play 2K and I stood in line at 12 o'clock when it was time to do that. But you got to understand, when you are elected, it's still a certain things that you cannot do. Now, don't understand that because your brother's out there with a pocket full of drugs and he's in the dead wrong and the police got him, and you call me and I say, hey, the police are doing their job. I can't help you, and that don't make me a sellout. That means your brother knew the game and he got sold. It's now when you say code switching, judge me by the motions and the policies that I bring forth and that I put in place to help. That's how you judge who you vote for. Right. Not because I'm not down in the hood and I'm not standing on the corner drinking a 40. That's called, you know, that's what it is. Because I'm coming to every event. I still go to my NAACP meetings. I still go to my Eastern North Carolina Civic Group meeting. I'm still on Zoom till my eyes get tired. Got to be here, there, and everywhere. But on Mondays, I'm in the room advocating for black folk that look like me. You know,
I hear that now.
That coat switching, they ain't got enough melanin. We got to put them back out to the sun until they get right.
And I understand that you've been in these meetings with me though, Quentin. And in essence, I got to disagree because you know,
help me out,
sometimes our counterparts really don't understand our struggle because they've never been through our struggle. So sometimes you have to level with them. Exactly. And sometimes you have to level with them until they can understand our struggle.
They will never be able to understand though.
But I understand, but they're willing to have the conversation. And just like the Black Lives Matter movement, this stuff been going on for a long time. It just became popular with George Floyd and everything that's been going on in the last 6 months. But this has been going on for a long time. Legislation has been being pushed for a long time. So sometimes having these conversations with our counterparts does produce some form of a change. But I do feel like we have to learn how to as well. And I will be interested to understand what how Demetrius feels about this, but just consolidating power and talking to some of our counterparts about this and people that don't understand about our issues, because some people do get behind it once they actually do listen, kind of somewhat comprehend and attempt to understand, rather than coming from the place that they have always been, and that's just my take on it.
Well, Kelvin,
I agree.
Can I just say this? I went somewhere about 3 weeks ago trying to get a favor, right? And the lady said, this is the best time to go and try to get something because it's election year. They in a given mood during election year. So I get what you're saying when you have the conversation to say, hey, we need this in the Black neighborhood. They don't get it. They don't get the fear when the blue lights are on you and you squeezing that steering wheel and you're scared. They don't get when you're in that elevator and they're clutching that pocketbook. They don't get when you're in that corner store that we do not own, right? They don't get how they're looking at you through that big glass in the window. I see it because y'all know during the day when I have my suit on from the funeral home, when I got my suit and stuff on, I understand that, hey, look,
oh my goodness.
yeah, I got my suit on now, but when I go throw on them J's and I got the True Religion all the way across me, I don't look like that council person. And be it as may,
oh my God,
around the snow, when I'm walking around the street, these same people that get on Facebook and talk about me, they so used to seeing me in a suit, they don't even know who I am. I had a lady come to a restaurant and say, yeah, you look like such and such. I said, yeah. She's like, yeah, that Quentin Jackson, he's something else. I said, man, I wouldn't vote for that joker to do nothing. And it's because,
listen, because I want Demetrius to answer, but I definitely want Jarena to get on the mic. Jarena, how do you feel about code switching? Because I don't feel like it's just in politics, but I know you hold a very professional position, and I know sometimes we have to do that. But what's your take on that in regards to politicians having to code switch? Because I know you done see me on the mic at plenty of meetings, going a little left and taking it a little right.
Yeah, I'll say this. In my corporate world, the code switch is just a part of the game. And honestly, in my opinion, that's where we level out to what others have done all this time. I mean, we call it code switching in the Black community, but in other demographics, they do that every day, but they call it politicking. So we have to quit putting a negative connotation on playing the game like everyone else does. It's about your integrity. It's about your you being that true person. So some of what Quentin was saying, that's real stuff. But at the same time, there are some people who want to vote for you for the man that's in the suit, as well as there's some people that want to vote for the man that's in the urban gear. What I would love to see is for us to quit automatically associating negativity with Black culture, the urban gear. We and I do it too. We immediately start throwing out the stereotypical. Okay, so we're not. If you're talking to Pookie at the cookout, well, guess what? Pookie's been spitting some knowledge, and he's not been here for so many years for no reason. So I think that we have to change how we see ourselves so that it quits giving credibility to how other people try to label us. I mean, so code switching, that's absolutely a part of life. You get further with sugar than sugar honey iced tea. So, I think that, I think that's a part of the process, but who you are, the core of who you are, whether you're in that corporate mask or you're in your, below deck mask, that shouldn't change. You're really just, a lot of it is about how you talk. Some people, when they see me with my family, they can't believe I'm the same person that they, see at my job. But that's a part of life. But yeah, my heart, my core, my integrity, what I feel we should do as a community, that doesn't change regardless of what I have on, or, whether or not I'm using my home dialect or I'm speaking in my professional vernacular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's like
I
legit. I back that 100%.
Well,
And
go ahead,
yeah,
Demetri.
go ahead, Quinn. My fault, bro.
I just don't want to get took out of context what I was saying about urban wear, because what I was talking about when I was relate to urban wear is that no matter what clothes I got on, I'm the same person, but people are receptive differently based upon my image, but it's upon what I got on. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like, bro, this is our culture. This is us. This is it. So I understand, about the clothes and not labeling, because I understand that we're giving our clothes and we're giving billions and billions of dollars to people who already got millions and millions of dollars for our clothes. It's true that most kids don't know who Michael Jordan is, right? Most children, you ask Jordan, they don't know. They know the sneakers, but they know because in our minds we have put that you must wear Jordans. In our mind, they know who Spider-Man is. They know who Dora the Explorer is. So imagine going to Walmart spending 20 instead of 200. I mean, this is why I'm saying being labeled by what we're wearing. I'm not necessarily anything wrong. Right. Pookie got a jailhouse degree. You get what I'm saying? So Pookie done read that Bible inside out, and they give you more knowledge than you ever learned before. So don't think, judge a book by its cover, because Malcolm X and all them brothers, John, everybody went to jail. Everybody went to jail. So it's not.
And
go ahead, Drew.
I mean, and yeah, I'm sorry. No, but I wasn't disagreeing with what you were saying. I'm just saying, and not just in the context of this conversation. I'm saying in general, I think that's where a lot of the miscommunication comes. Because you have your educated folks, and when they get into the conversation, that's one of the first things that they try to present. And even if that's not your intention, it comes off as judgment. We don't say to Black people, instead of taking, we see you wait in the line for hours for, your kids' school supplies. No, the first thing we throw at them is, you out there for your Jordans or you out there for 2K. Do we do it? Absolutely. But there are white gamers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, a lot of what we've attached to our culture and the stereotypes that have been handed down to us, we've taken those on too. And I'm just saying, like, there's nothing wrong with, with saying it in a truthful place, but at the same time, the same way we attach negative connotations to, a person who doesn't have a name that you can find in a name book. I mean, my name's Jarena. I've not met another one. And so if I were to take the stereotype that comes with that, I didn't have a choice in what I was named, but I have a choice in how I represent what a Jarena is. And so I can't let someone put out there that because my name is a certain thing, that's who we are. And so I'm just saying, like, when it comes down to what we wear, our clothes, and in the context of code switching, a lot of times we already come with a negative mark for things that that aren't really in our control. You know what I mean? A lot of urban gear came from, what your parents could afford. It's hilarious to me to see people spend the money they do on Champ, because it was in Walmart when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm just saying, that we have to, like, have that unconditional, prideful love about what it is to be Black, regardless of what that looks like. You know what I mean? And but
so
yeah,
basically, you saying it starts with us. You saying it starts
Exactly.
with us within our own community, right? And I think some people, it's about having those uncomfortable conversations and calling ourselves out. And I think, that is one reason why I started the podcast, or going live, is because we have to call each other out. And I still think it's funny because we are gonna say we are gonna get on each other, basically, like, I don't want you to come to me on November 4th talking about nothing if you didn't vote. And the thing about it is your voting record is public. So that means if you tell me you voted and I looked up and you didn't vote, you're lying. And that's why I tell my husband, like, I don't care what election is going on, you better vote, because I don't need the haters looking you up and them telling me, well, your husband doesn't even vote in the election, so why are you telling other people to vote? Because do what I say, not what I do. But you can look my record up, Jamisha S. Harris, and see that I voted in every election that I could possibly vote in person.
Like
But
legit, and they matter from local all
yes.
the way up to the president. Like, I promise you, all of them matter. And me, just one more thing, like, sometimes, and I'll just go ahead and just put myself out there and say this. Sometimes you have to code switch because that's what it takes to get in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, in order for me to know as much as I know now, I had to, like, put that angry. Granted, yeah, certain things, of course, is going to anger you because we're Black in America. A lot of things aren't fair. Neither is life, but that's okay. So I had to tuck that away. And that's when I started to become more prevalent because people are like, oh, he's pretty cool. I can bring him in and talk to him. So for me, I code switch into a degree because, yeah, you catch me outside of GA, I'm a whole different person. But because of my professionalism, you're going to see me in a slim fit suit and I'm going to know what I'm supposed to know and I'm going to be on time. But another thing is what I learned, I bring back to my community.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing that nobody can ever say. You can say I code switch, but most people will always say, and I even hear this myself, they're like, you do what it takes and you bring us the knowledge back. And that's the main reason I'm able to be up here. Like, because yes, I went through hell and high water, as a Black intern coming from a poor family and, jumping in there in an undergrad, never worked in politics before, heard it all. Thank God for my HBCU, the Elizabeth City State University.
Here we go.
Black and Pride.
Elevators, like literally going into elevators and people clutching their purses, looking at me like, why are you here? You don't belong here. Like, yeah, I dealt with that firsthand. And it took me getting to the point where I became one of the prevalent Black lobbyists for that to cease. And even now, for those that don't know me that I encounter, I still get that. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get in the room. And you know what, Mish, I'm going to go ahead and just tell everybody, like, real quick what my motto is when I'm in that General Assembly. If I'm not at the table, my people and myself are on the menu.
Right.
Like, legit.
Yes, that's definitely true. I
like,
know if somebody
real.
pulled up some of the alderman meetings that I have, I don't play no more. I know that in the beginning I felt like I had to walk on eggshells, but my thing is like this: I don't run my seat like a campaign. So either you're gonna reelect me if I run again, or you're not. And if you don't reelect me, that's fine. I'm still gonna be as boisterous and loud and be at every meeting saying what I have to say. But I feel like the moment that you're quiet and you let things go, they're going to continue to walk on you, and they're going to continue to do these backdoor deals, and they're going to continue to do the things that they do to sometimes harm your community. So if you're bold, you got to be up there and speak out. I have a lot of controversial issues in my ward, and I represent the majority Black ward. So everything that I do have to talk about within my ward, majority has to do with minorities. And it's tough sometimes because people call me racist, which that's a whole nother podcast because I don't think they understand that Black people can't be racist. But moving on, I just, it's stressful, but I just feel like, I say this: I'm a citizen politicking. You will catch me in the club when they're open. You'll catch me at the bar, having a beer. You can come up to me and have a conversation. I love everybody. I support everybody. I've even voted for Republicans. I really am more of an independent. I am registered Democrat, but I am independent. But I just, it's okay to be who you are, and people have to accept that. I mean, that's pretty much how I feel.
Can I piggyback off a little bit what Demetria said? I know in my own personal experience, especially being before I am in the role that I am now in the campaign management world, there's literally not a lot of representation of us in that field. And being somebody that has served as a senior level, and this is something that you do not see, as a senior level member of a congressional campaign. When I went out to Montana, of all places, I served as the field director for a congressional campaign out there. You literally do not see a lot of us that serve in senior level positions in congressional level campaigns at all. And sometimes, just speaking on the issue of code switching, sometimes you have, like Demetri said, you have to code switch to even survive or get in some of these positions. And I don't want to make it seem like some form of code switching is bad. And I think for us as a community, sometimes we need to define what that even means. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we do have counterparts and we do need representation in these areas. Definitely. I seen when Quinn was shaking his head, we do need representation in all of these fields, in lobbying, in congressional campaigns, in legislative and political representation in general, period. We need people in these offices and in these positions. So representation to me matters first before anything. Right. And I see Quentin has his hand up.
I just want to say what you and Demetrius talking about ain't code switching. I mean, that's and people don't understand, right? That when Nat Turner and all of those people that was fighting for us, we had people who acted like they liked the master, right? Was already letting us know what was going on in the inside. So we know that if you're not at the table, where you at? On the menu. So if it takes for us to infiltrate, to get more of us in, that I can go to Kelvin and say, hey man, how you do that? Demetrius, hey, how you do that? How did you code switch? You ain't code switching. You educating other people how to get there. Code switching is getting there, and I see Kelvin, and I don't know who Kelvin is. I don't know him. Why he's speaking to me? You know, code switching is when that vote come up to appropriate money where it needs to go, you vote the other way. I don't want people to get being professional and code switching. I don't want them to get that totally.
It's that exactly, and that's what I just said. I want us as a community to start defining what code switching actually means, because I don't want to misunderstand being professional as code switching. And exactly, thank you for hitting on that.
All right, now that is very true. And sometimes man, I don't know. I know you've been in some meetings, Quentin, where you thinking a vote is going to go a certain way, and then out the gate, it don't go the way that you want to go.
I can get shocked because I already know the parameters. A lot of times when I look at the agenda, I already know where it's going to go before we even get in the room. I only know what we had to meet. But I hold my own and I hold my peace just for GP. But a lot of times, be for real. If you've been in office and you had the same council for a year, you already know how certain stuff is going to go for even hit.
Right.
They've already made their decision. And it's like the people that you can go to help and say something, a lot of times they already consulted them about it before you even got there. You gotta be, that's code switching. I'm going through it now, but people know the record and people know how I'm voting and I'm standing up, but beat them on paper.
So seeing y'all being an elected official, how do we have these real conversations about building that political power though? Because like you said, we actually do know how these votes are gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, you got to vote, and more than anything, like when I was in Smithfield doing this thing with Marlon, he's another Black elected official in Smithfield, and he had an event about we mean business. I told all these Black men, I'm like, these meetings are public. You can go in here and voice your opinion. You cannot learn this. I'll be real with y'all. I studied this at Elizabeth City State, NC State, and UNCG.
Mike and Brian.
Exactly. The textbook is not going to tell you everything. You got to be in the room to learn this. And I can tell it to you, but literally the Bible says you teach a man how to fish, you feed it for a lifetime. I'm going to teach you, but I need for you to go in the room and literally see how it's done. Because, Quentin, I love you dearly. Jamisha, I love you too. Eventually, y'all are going to retire. Y'all gonna get tired of this, and we got to have the next generation to step up.
You're right, and so that touches on a good point, because I believe in term limits, and what I've said is, because my re-election is up in 2021. So if you could vote for me, please vote for me, because I need 4 more years in Ward 2 before I head up to DC. But I've said that on the night when we sign and dine our old board and, swear in the new board under new business, the first thing I'm going to say is if there is anybody in Ward 2 that wants to run, please come up under me. I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know, and I'm going to give you everything that you need to be successful in this position. So when it's time to campaign, I'm going to endorse you, and we're going to go ahead and move on to getting you elected to office. But I'm looking for young people because I think we need young people in office. I think even it's not even just like, you got the school board. We got people sitting on the school board right now that don't have any children in the school system. So how can you effectively make decisions if you don't have no kids in the school system? But voting changes that. So all of this conversation that we're having right now, voting changes that. Because when we're saying code switching and making sure people are going to vote a certain way, or we need them to vote a certain way, if you voted for someone that has your best interest in office, you're never going to have to second guess how they're going to vote. You know that they're going to vote to make sure that you're good. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
And that's the truth. And I mean, like, legit, the people on the other side that ain't us, they train like their kids up for this from like a young age. Like, I talked with some of my boys, and they bring their kids on the floor, teaching them what I know, the rules of the House, rules of the Senate, legislative process, all of that. Like, and I get it. I know every household can't do it, but somebody in the Black community has to do it. Because I don't want to have, I love going to career day and teaching kids about this, especially Black and brown kids, because I need this to get embedded in your mind at a young age. You have the right to vote. Your vote matters. Your census is critical. Like, you can run for office and represent your body. You may be the only one in the room, but you still can be impactful. And if you do it the right way, and we as like the middle generation, the older generation, do it the right way, you won't be the only one in the room. And I mean, I'm sorry, crap, I done told Mouse plenty of times, like, yo, I get tired of being the darkest person in the room in the legislature for lobbying. Like,
I'm absolutely done. Who's Mouse?
Sorry, that's my fault, right? So that was his name in undergrad.
Mr. Stallings? Mouse? Okay.
My fault.
No, I'm just trying to say like exactly what he was saying about on the school board and about being elected and handing down the torch.
Not he, she. I'm a woman. Come correct, Quentin.
I was talking about
me too.
Okay. He was saying how they have their children on the floor, showing them how it's done, showing them that. That is exactly what I'm saying. Jamisha, right. That is what we didn't have that, Jamisha. We had like, yo, they ain't doing that. We just going to put our name on the ballot, and that's how it's going to. Right. They're not going to come and tell us and turn around and have that conversation with us and tell us X, Y, we supposed to be doing. You get what I'm saying?
And another thing though, because I found, being in North Carolina and how the board works, when we go to NLC is a platform for elected officials to go to find funding. Like he said, he got NLC money, grant money for the census. That's important. You need to put people in office that are not afraid to network, that's going to go and get this money, go and find the resources, go and create these policies, go and get these policies, the wording and everything corrected, and networking with people so that it's a benefit for you and your whole city. So I think it's important. I think it's important that, again, we just stress the fact that you vote. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your political party is, whether you're gangbanging blue or red or libertarian or green party. I don't care what you represent. I care that you go and register to vote. And if you already registered, make sure it's updated, because we move around a lot, and you need to make sure your current address is on the registration form. I know when I first moved down here, the registration had me listed as white. I represent African. Yes, I'm biracial, but on paperwork, I'm Black. That's how I feel. I'm Black. Government sees me as Black. I'm Black. So I just wanted to, make sure that my registration was correct, and you do that. Check on your parents. If your kids are 18, make sure that their registration is good. It's important because you need to be registered to vote. Registration, voting is like money. That's money. Remember, money, 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 money. Go ahead. I'm
Legit.
done with my soapbox.
Nah, but
We
I mean,
got to
what you
talk
saying
about
is
early
real.
voting dates. I got the early voting dates too. October 15th. This is for North Carolina. Come on and raise up. So North Carolina early voting starts on October 15th. Okay. And it's going to end on October 31st. So you know what we going to do, because let me tell you how we do. It's Halloween. So you know we finna have some pull up trunk or treats at this early voting. Bring your kids while you inside voting. They could be trunk and treating, you know, because it's like souls to the polls. We're very creative on how we try to get people out there. So I'm gonna be selling it. If we got free candy for your kids, we're gonna have Halloween. We need you to go ahead and vote. And usually they're open till what, 7 o'clock, I think. Early voting is 7 o'clock, I believe.
7 or 8, something like that. And as long
7 or
as
8.
you are in line by that time, you are obligated to still vote. How do you even tell you that you can't do it and you in line? Learn the rules, like legit. Like I swear to God, learn the rules.
Oh, hold on. My boo, my husband is in here and he gave something really good. This is about to be the hashtag for October 31st. Trump or treat. Is that hot? We got to hashtag that. So we about to have events for October 31st. We about to do them in New Bern. I know that. Instead of trunk or treat, it's going to be Trump or treat. That's hot. About to get the shirt, wearing it. Go ahead. Y'all go. My bad.
Nah, but you real though. Like, make sure y'all get out the vote. Like, and honestly, if you don't vote, don't complain.
Yeah.
Because you are literally just saying, I'm okay with it. Your vote is your voice, and your ancestor died so you can get this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in the legislature now, people are still fighting on both sides to try to keep this and or alter it. Like,
and
I
you don't
don't-
need your ID in North Carolina. They mad about that. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and I
saying?
mean,
But you don't
honestly,
need your ID.
I really just always wonder, like, at what point do we be accountable to ourselves?
Mhm.
Like, legit, I done told every single one of my frat brothers, I posted in our group me, all of that, all 3 of my frats. I'm like, look, I need for y'all to vote. If you got questions, call me. If you're scared to post it on my timeline, send me a text, DM me. But yo, you have the option, you have the education. And if you don't know, like, bro, I swear, please ask somebody. Like,
Right.
we ain't gonna tell you nothing wrong. Like, there's a reason why me and Kelvin and so many of us have studied this, like, on an academia level and that firsthand experience. Like, ask us. Like, there is no such
And
thing
there's
as a
that
dumb question.
website. What
Yeah,
about the website, Alicia? Is it Alicia where she put where you can literally go to you put in your address, right? I think I know you're gonna give me the link, but you put your address in and it pulls up your ballot, and you can literally see each candidate, what their platform is, what they represent, and remember, because I'm bipartisan, or nonpartisan, whatever you want to say. So when you go to your general election, you got Democrat and Republican, Libertarian, and if the Green Party or the Tea Party, whoever party got on there, you have that ability to pick and choose. You don't have to go straight down. Although each party, Republicans say straight vote down, Democrats say straight vote down. No, if you care and you really respect your voting and you cherish your voting, take the time, maybe an hour, and go and pull up your ballot and look at each candidate and see the blurb of what they represent. If they don't represent what you want, then don't vote for that particular person. But if it's only 2 people, you're gonna have to choose one, because we don't want you writing Mickey Mouse in there. Bernie was my first pick. I can't put his name in there because that's a vote for 45. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it's nothing for me to sugarcoat. We got to get 45 out of office, whether you like that or not. And you're going to clip this and put it on also social media. Yes, I said I'm voting for Joe Biden, period. We need to get Trump out of office, period. We need a new administration. We need to clean house so that we can actually have some equity in politics and equality in politics, period. Go ahead. Oh, it's ballotready.org. Ballotready.org.
And sorry, Zach. Yeah, it was voterready.org. But yeah, Zach Hawkins is a good guy. He's a legislator down in Durham. He's up here talking junk. But Jamisha, I think we really should try to get him up here.
Oh yeah, I'm cool. You know, we do this every Thursday to
He said
election
there's too many
day.
Kappas up here. So yeah, he
Oh
said
my
he wants to be the
goodness.
one Omega up here. So yeah. Zach, if you can hear me, or Representative Hawkins, if you can hear me, we might have to get you up here, good sir, because he brings a lot of knowledge.
Well, listen.
Representative Hawkins, we fine with the Kappa representation we got.
Oh
Right?
my.
But again, even like with the D9s, like yo, it's so
But you know what? Don't sleep, Jarena. What you represent? Why they up here talking about what they talking about?
That beautiful blue and white Z5B.
Please don't.
Well, I have to tell you guys that, you know, this AKA city in my city. You know, the Burke sisters are from my sisters. They're from my city. They're the founders of the AKAs. You know, and we got a nice plot here on the two Burke sisters. So, you know, I rep them AKAs. I rock with them. But you know, the Omega.
Definitely.
I tell
Definitely,
y'all.
yeah. And like with the D9, like y'all, to all my Kappa brothers, to every single D9, to the NAACP, to the Masons, to the Eastern Stars, every single org, NPHC or National Panhandle Council, and whatever else that you want to define yourself as, or me, find me, whoever you want to be, get your tail to the pole and do what you got to do.
Now
Like
listen.
legit.
One other
And
thing that I
HBCUs
think
too.
Yes, another thing that is so important is second chance voters. So I looked up the information. And if you have a felony and you did your time, you paid restitution, and you don't have anything, you are a free man, free woman, you can go register to vote and vote. So make sure you do that. Don't let them have you out here thinking that you don't have a right to vote. If you are not owned by the state that you went to prison in, and you are free, you did your time, you paid your money, you don't have probation, you're not on parole, you can go register to vote and make sure you vote. Go ahead, Quentin, what you about to tell us?
I just want to say you can have restitution owed to the state, but you just cannot be on active probation or parole. Now, they just made a civil judgment and you owe them money, because you know a lot of these federals get out with drugs and they owe them $50,000, the federal government, all that. You can still vote. But if you're on active probation parole, please don't go there, because they'll lock you up. And I know they're desperate and they're gonna try everything this December. So y'all, please go vote. I do wanna push that out to everyone. And all the reason why, any other thing, I hate when people say, and y'all got mad at Joe Biden for saying, hey, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. I just don't understand when we get so touchy and picky, like we don't know what's going on.
I didn't understand either.
You know, I'm just saying I don't get it. But let's tell the truth, man. We got to go and do what's in the best interest of our people. And a vote not for Joe Biden, not for Democrats, is a vote for 45.
And that's keeping it 100.
And 45 just had a radio. I don't know if y'all seen his radio clip where he said he's done more for the black community than any president other than Abraham Lincoln. So,
I mean, he must have forgot about Lyndon Baines Johnson, didn't he?
I've been learning about
mess.
And you know, and I don't know if y'all seen this clip or not. When Dick Gregory brought out how we just gave Bill Clinton a black car, but we just but Obama ain't did enough. Have y'all seen that?
No.
I've seen it.
I'm not about to give you the screen, Quentin, so you could just kill all that noise. But I mean, I think that's important too. Like, you know, everything we're saying in the conversation, it all revolves around voting. You complaining that you're not making, you know, your minimum wage is $7.25. Well, you gotta vote. You talking about your rent is too high. Well, you gotta vote. You want to go get a loan? Well, you gotta vote, because the interest rates. Yep. Stock market, all that stuff, like everything in life that you deal with, your health, insurance,
student loans.
Period. Yes, student loans. Yes, you have to vote locally. Your utility bills. Vote. How them holes, them potholes is tearing up your rims. Vote. You understand what I'm saying? Like, vote your county commissioners. Your county commissioners is the ones that give the money and have the payroll for your education, for your kids' education. Vote. You understand what I'm saying? Your county commissioners are responsible, especially in Craven County. That's going to say, to the school board whether your kids got to go back to school in person instead of remote during COVID. The
Preach.
people on the school board is going to be making a decision either tomorrow or was it today? I don't even know what day it was, because I've been locked in the house because of COVID. What they're going to decide on whether kids got to go back to school. You know, Governor Cooper, I love him, that's my man. He made the decision for North Carolina that they can start sending kids back to school as of October 5th. For me and mine, my kids is going to be in the house because we don't play with COVID. But if you don't like his decision, guess what you can do in November? You can make the choice to vote him out if you don't like that. So it's about voting every election. That's it. Y'all don't have nothing to add to that.
I ain't got nothing. I ain't dropping no mic. I just want to say, Demetria, you know, of course, thank you for getting us all together. You know, this is a great idea. Demetrius is great. Kelvin is great. Jarena, I haven't met Jarena, but hey, look, be on this podcast and that picture says all you need to say about you. It show, you know, that but I want to tell you guys, thank you guys for all you're doing and support your elected officials. You know, that's one of the most hardest things that people don't understand. I know they think we're super people and superhuman. We all go through, you know, struggles and X, Y, and Z. And we lost 2 people. I don't know what happened to them. I want to tell them, my 2 ladies, my 2 sisters.
Oh, Sharon, yeah, they had to pop off. But Sharon told me in the comments, she said, I don't want to leave. I got another Zoom, but this brother right here is preaching. So we definitely got to get you back next week. Like I said, anybody that wants to come on the Zoom and talk about voting in the North Carolina census, second chance, want to talk about things that's going on in the community that deals directly with voting, politics, whatever, we don't care. Just hop on here and have the conversation. White, black, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. We just want to talk about it. We're going to talk about our issues. So if the majority of us up here are color folk, then we're going to be talking about color folk issues. But that is what it is. Go ahead, Quentin. What you going to say?
I ain't got nothing else to say. Done said all I say. I preach to the black, young, and the old.
Oh, black, young, and the old.
It's your soul.
Okay. You got anything else to say, Calvin or Demetrius?
Yeah. I think you said it perfectly. Just go vote. I know we're here in Wayne County. We're dealing with a Board of Education that has a $5 million shortfall and is operating under Plan B. If you don't agree with that, make sure you go vote. If you definitely don't agree with that, make sure you go vote when the next members are up for election.
Yes.
So your vote is the most powerful tool you can use. Make sure you utilize it.
But you know, another thing I was going to say too is it don't stop once you vote and you get your person in office. You have to support them. When you have issues, you need to go to the meetings, whether they're on Zoom, on Facebook, hop up in the comments, just like you are on this podcast right now, and put out your grievances, because guess what? You employed us when you voted. Like he said with the police officers, you pay, your tax dollars pay that. If you don't want these streets to be fixed, then you need to go to them and say, hey, why are you over there fixing downtown? We need you to come over here in the marginalized communities and get these roads fixed too. That's what your vote does. It gives you the ability to sit at the table and let them know the things that you want, need, and desire. If you don't vote, don't come to the meeting telling me what you got going on because you didn't vote. You understand? You're voting for people to represent you. So make sure you do that and make sure you support your elected officials. It's hard out here for us. Our information is public. Everything that we do is public. We are in the public eye, and some of us can handle it. Some of us can't. I know I teeter on both sides because I be wanting to clap back, but you know, this stuff is real. It is real. North Carolina census period. It is real. Just make sure you vote, because you know what did he say back in the day? Vote or die.
But
understand what I'm saying?
And I understand you say you support your elected officials, but make sure you understand what your elected officials stand for as well.
Right.
Please
Make sure exactly.
Y'all
They
look
love
stressed.
God.
Yes.
Understand what they do. I'll do a civics and economics class if I have to, but understand who does what, the power is. Go to their their websites, listen to them speak, look at their voting record. If you need help with any of this, just like, my name is Demetrius Delow, just add me or message me. I'll help you out. Like, that's why I'm still in this. 1, because I love it. 2, it excites me. And 3, because I want to pass this knowledge on down. Like, bruh, learn. You're never too old to learn. It's never too late to start becoming active.
Mm-hmm.
And I challenge every single HBCU in the state of North Carolina, because North Carolina has the most HBCUs in the country. I challenge every single HBCU to make sure every single student does their census and to make sure that they all go out to the vote. Like legit, I remember like in Elizabeth City, we used to have like a darn parade out there going to the polls. Like we walk down the street, we put fear in people hard. Like ain't nothing more dangerous than educated Black kings and queens, bro. Let me be the
200, 300 strong to the polls.
Yeah, but the thing is that we have to
get that brother in.
The issue with that though is not only do we have people telling us our votes don't matter, not only do we have our strong Black men thinking that their voices don't matter, and in this election we have to deal with COVID and all of the stigma that comes with that. So it ain't like back in the days when we had souls to the polls. We have to be creative. Like I said, with the, October 31st, it's a known holiday. Whether you celebrate it or not, you have to be creative. It's our responsibility as community leaders, as elected officials, if we want people to come out to these polls, if we want people to fill out their census, which I don't know if y'all saw, they are trying to get the census extended. So if they do get that extended, that's good. That's good information. And that's good for everybody. But anytime you have the opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Especially like I said, on October 31st, I like that idea. I'm still in that Trump or treat, because that's important. And you get the kids involved. Come watch mommy vote or be outside. Like you have to do everything possible to engage every demographic, not every age, 18 and older to vote. Go ahead, Quentin. What you talking about?
And I just want to talk about also y'all Democrats. Listen,
you a Democrat too, Quentin.
I want to talk about y'all Democrats. Okay, I just got to.
My goodness.
Democrats. Okay, listen. You go and you need to go to your Democratic precinct meetings. Okay, and this is bipartisan meeting, but I got to talk to y'all Democrats because see y'all some fools. Y'all get all these people ain't never held no political office because they get certain people money in their campaigns, and y'all put them on the state board of election chair, and they become your election board and all this. And y'all got to ID people at the polls. Y'all got to have people watching these folks. These folks slick. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Because the Democratic Party gets to choose 3 people that's on your local board. Okay. They be out there doing all this stuff, changing rules and just stopping people from voting and purging you from lists. And y'all Democrats just sit right there and take it. What y'all doing sitting there and taking it? Y'all got to go to these
goodness.
No, I mean, listen, I'm sorry.
No, you're right though, because that is a true conversation. I've said it for a long time.
Last year, you go to the polls and you voted all your life. You're doing everything. You filled out your census, you voted, you did all that. Then your name is purged from the list. And then they say, hey, we're going to give you a provisional ballot that only matters if it's close. And we're electing these people to the board, and they'll just say, oh, well, that's just how it is. They don't want to get Billy and Bob and Russell. They already retired, and they getting their check and they getting their pension, and you don't never see them nowhere in the streets. And we got them on your local party. What's going on? Kelvin, what's going on? Demetrius, what's going on? I mean, you're sending these people to Raleigh, and you got nobody who's watching the watchers. That's what I need to know.
Let me tell you how simplistic this is, though, and I'm gonna be completely frank and honest. When you go to your precinct meetings, because your precinct meeting will happen next February in 2021.
Right.
Your precinct meeting only needs 5 people. You only need 5 people in your precinct meeting to qualify as a precinct to have voting rights. If you're really, really upset with the way your political process is going in your county, get 5 people, get 7 people, get 10 people. The more people you have and the more voting power in these precincts means how many votes you have in your county. So if you have more voting power in your county, it means you can persuade and make a lot of the decisions in your county that the Democratic Party makes decisions about. So you will have majority of the voting power in terms of who you put on the board of elections, who you put when vacancies arise in terms of NC Senate and NC House. So I want people to realize when we're talking about these Democratic precincts, make sure people are attending their precinct meetings. Make sure people are going to these county conventions. Make sure people are going to their district conventions, because these things are important. And when it comes to decisions like those that really affect us, that's where it counts.
Right.
I need I need, when you go there, I need you to go, executive drive, and I need you to go holler at Roy for me, man, because, these last 3 appointments he done gave down here in my city, I'm like, who? I mean,
Now,
you
listen,
get the accolades because you know somebody.
you're not fitting to
You know,
sit up here and talk about my
you get
governor. I
accolades.
know that's not what you're gonna do tonight. Okay.
I love my governor. I love my governor, my former attorney general, who is the first governor that has not issued clemency, even though all these black brothers been locked. I ain't gonna do it. No, I'm just saying that, and welcome home, Ronnie Long. I just want to say that Governor Cooper is the first governor in 40 years that has not issued clemency to anybody in the state of North Carolina. Now, I just want to say that I support Governor Cooper. I support his mask mandate. I support all of that. And it's not political suicide. But yes, we're voting for Governor Cooper. And I'm just tired of when you're going to people and say, hey, why are you voting for Roy Cooper? Because he's a Democrat. No, you need to know the reasons why you're voting for these people as well. And that's accountability. He was a former attorney general.
Right.
You had all these
And
legislators.
it can't be, honestly, even though we're up here with this platform too, it can't be I'm voting just because he's black either. You understand? So people can understand, because I know, well,
I'm voting for you black.
No, even though you want to vote because they're black, you still have to vote for a qualified candidate, because you can get somebody black up there that doesn't understand what they're doing, or they, like you said. So you want a qualified candidate, but it would be preferable if we're able to get more African American men and women elected into office.
Well, I'm sorry when y'all say qualified. I just think that those has been slighted, because when you got a guy who's bankrupt more times than I brought sneakers, and when you got a guy whose university has failed, when you got a guy that say grab women by their, when you got all that, I'm sorry. It's just, I believe anybody could run for the qualifications is pay a little money and do that. But if you got a brother that's black, and just know a little bit, we can train him. You got somebody who's 70 years old, ain't no training or taming him. You already know he's about. Amen. I'm just being real with you.
Well, then then the conversation is we need to also get people engaged and wanting to run. If I would have known all of the stuff that was entailed with my personal life, I probably wouldn't have second guessed it. I still would have ran, because at the end of the day, when you run for office, it's bigger than you. You're representing not just you and your household, you're representing the whole community. So you need to come correct. You need to be qualified. You need to educate yourself. You need to know how to network. You need to know how to be professional. You need to know everything you need to know to do what you need to do.
Legit. And bring back that knowledge, like share it.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons why I love being a professor. Like, shout out to St. All University. I love being a professor out there. I love teaching my kids, like, this is what you need to do. Like, this is why it's important. I know the book says this, but let me tell you what that means to you. Like, everybody already is doing it except for us. Train the next generation. Like, educate them now. The book, we can't rely on K-12 to tell them everything, because, we already see how that's going for history classes. But legit, we really got to tell everybody, like, what's really real. And Mish, I got to get ready to jump off, but my last word is everybody go ahead and vote. Do your census. The census is 10 questions that take maybe 5 or 6 minutes to do. It's confidential and it matters. Your vote is critical. It matters. And for the love of God, if you won't vote for yourself, do it for me and for all these young brothers that are coming up in politics. And legit, and I'm gonna just let y'all in on a secret, whoever that's in the legislature, that determines who gets the internships and all this other stuff. So if you want more representation, you need some representation in there that can vouch for us, because we're not gonna be the first on the pecking order when it comes to certain opportunities if we ain't got no representation in there. So census, vote, HBCUs, Chancellor Martin, Chancellor Elwood Robinson, Chancellor Kerry Dixon, Carson Rich, and Ray Trapp. I love all of y'all dearly, but I challenge you to make sure that all y'all kids are good to go on November. And I know COVID is real, so if you got to do it every other day type of thing, I'm with it. But legit, we got to rely on our HBCUs to go ahead and start educating this next generation, because it's got to get done.
Does anybody else have a last few words before I do my spiel and then close this podcast out? What you got, Quentin? 2
Nothing.
minutes. That's it.
Do
What about you, Calvin? All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you for all of my people that jumped up here. I love these conversations. They're real conversations with real people. This is Politicking as usual. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. We have Politicking as usual, the Black Friday edition. We are talking about relationships and addictions. They go hand in hand. At the end of the day, the story is register to vote and then vote. I love y'all. Thank you for watching and have a good night. Peace.
Jamisha, you got a strawberry letter?
No, bye.